Ooh, okay. I'm officially live. Welcome to anyone that wants to live vicariously through me. What we're going to be doing today, and honestly, you are just set up to watch me what I was already doing. So, I went apple picking this weekend. It was great, kind of. Jersey had some fires, so it was hard, but I have so many apples. So, I used a crock pot recipe to create like an apple dip, like a caramel apple dip, which then just like turned out, you can't even see, like it's like so slushy. It's too liquidy. I did something wrong. So I'm trying to figure that out. So what I realized I have is a box of this Jiffy banana muffin. So I threw it in there. I followed most of the ingredients. Jiffy, one egg, I put that in, a third cup milk. I didn't put the milk in because I just added a bunch of the caramel sauce and the apples. And the consistency looks pretty okay to me. I've made a lot of muffins, so it looks pretty okay. We're gonna find out. I might even add a couple more apples to each one. So while I'm doing all that, I need to find some cupcake wrapper. Some of these. I'm gonna tell you about the date I went on yesterday too. So this in the date it's related. It started with the apples. It's this guy I met on Bumble, and I don't know if it like I'm assuming it was like a reason to meet, but he was like, I love apples, and I was telling him how I went picking, and he's like, if you have extra, and I was like, you got it, I will bring you apples. So that was the premise of the day, like how we were gonna meet up. I currently am in Brooklyn. I went over to a neighborhood called Bushwick, and over there, and I was working in a coffee shop, and I ended up being up there all day, and that's where he lives. So we were going to meet up around 4 when he was off work, and I was like, no problem. I was like, here's the thing: I didn't go home. You're not getting apples. So all of this, he never got the apples. That's why I still have too many. But when we did all that, to wait for him, I found this burger place I'd been wanting to try. It's called like Unique Burgers or weird ass burgers, something was like that. It was like it was really weird because it's like you walk in and there's the Burger Hut, and then you walk through and there's a bar called the Johnsons, I believe. It was really cool, but over on Troutman, and then he shows up to meet me there, and this guy immediately has like a lot of energy. Great. And I was like, okay, well, like, there's like, we could play pool. Do you want a burger yourself? I just ate one. Do you want to get a drink? Whatever you want to do, we can go get coffee. He said, let's get coffee. So we go to our coffee shop. It's packed. We're sitting outside. Luckily, it's still a little bit warm. We're in November in New York, global warming. I won't start on it. And anyways, so we're chatting. I'm drinking an almond milk latte. He's drinking a tea. At some point, he had asked me, like, do you like doing yoga? And I said, yeah, but I've been doing more Pilates, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just very first date banter, like we're just chatting about life. He grew up in New York, things like that, things that you all have to learn on a first date. And I've been on 1,000. So that's it. I'm going to add a little bit right now. It's a little bit thick, so which this could backfire, but I'm going to add a little bit more of this juice and apples to it. Again, we're making this up, so we're going to see I'm going to see how it goes. And I mean, honestly, it's mostly just sugar, so it can't go bad, right? And if it does, oh well. I have too many apples anyways. So, we're chatting, and then all of a sudden, like abruptly, he like stops talking and goes, do you want to do yoga? And I was like, what? Do I want to do yoga? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, right now? And he's like, yes. Do you want to do yoga right now? I know a studio up the street and I love it. And I was like, uh, I'm not dressed for it. And he was like, you look kind of dressed. I was wearing like cargo pants, like a long sleeve shirt and a regular bra, and glasses, hair. It was fine. I luckily not showered that day. I think I made this too watery. We're gonna find out. I had not showered that day because also I was like, I'm very over meeting people. I'm very over dating. I'm not gonna put the effort into it. And it was fine. So I was like, you know what? The odds of us walking over and there being an available yoga class seem really low. So I was like, I'm gonna be the cool girl was like, yeah, let's do it. So we go over to the yoga studio, and there's one starting in 20 minutes. So he's like, perfect. He's in scrubs because he works at a hospital. He's like, I need to go to a car and change. And I was like, you're going to change? And he was like, yeah, I might have like a shirt or something if you want to borrow it. And I was like, no, it's okay. And we go to his car. He signs us up online for the yoga class, and he gets some clothes. We were a few blocks away, so we drive back over. And the yoga class, it's packed. Like, our mats are all touching each other. It's way more packed than any yoga class I've done in a really long time, and that's already really frustrating. And I'm right next to him now, and I was like, this is not cute. But here we go. And he goes in the bathroom to change, and by change, he put his t-shirt on and then took off his pants. He was just in like jammers, like long, like stretch underwear. So he's wearing like stretch shorts, and I'm in a full outfit, and everyone in there has to be curious why the two of us are in there, why this big, man in his underwear and this girl fully dressed that clearly didn't need to come to this is taking this class. And to top it all off, the instructor had brought her dogs in. So there's two dogs just walking around. So you have to be careful, because I was like, I can't just like lay in child's pose because this dog is going to come lick my face. And I'm very uninterested in that. Whoa. Yeah, this is a little runny. I probably shouldn't have added the extra apples at the end, but I'm feeling like the muffin tin's like halfway, so that way they have room to grow. And like, if this works, we're going to get some banana apple muffins. It's going to be amazing. So do the whole class. It's honestly one of the hardest yoga classes. She's already really hard to understand. It's 1,000 degrees in there because of all the bodies. I'm sweating profusely. And on the way over, I had been like, okay, like, we're going to go. I don't know how this is going to go. Like, we just went to coffee, and he was like, what does that have to do with it? And I was like, I mean, like, I'm drinking like a latte. And he's like, so? And I was like, well, I've just never done a workout after having a dairy-based drink. And I had just eaten a huge cheeseburger. So I'm full of dairy at this point, which is just, that's not how you want to do yoga. That's probably not how I should have done a first date, but it's definitely not how I want to do yoga. We do the class. It's very hard to understand it. We do the whole thing. It's over. And the whole place smells like feet. And then like we walk back out to the car, and he's like, and I was like, I'm trying to be positive. And I was like, that was so fun. Wow, what a creative thing for us to do. And then he just is like, yeah, like my mat smelled weird. And I was like, well, it's like, this was a free class, which is what I realized later. I was like, so it's not going to be that stellar. And, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Some free classes I'm sure are stellar, but this one, the class would have been fine had there been like 10 less people. And had I been in yoga clothes, that would have really helped. And had I not had a latte and a cheeseburger. So, and I was like, yo, I'm just happy I didn't throw up, because I have a lot of dairy in me, and that felt awful. And I was like, and then he just gets in his car, and I had left all my stuff in his car during the class, which also probably not my best move, probably risky, but it was fine. He seemed fine. And so I get in the front seat, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know what we're doing now. And he's like, oh, I have to go to my uncle's to pick something up. What train station do you need? I can drop you off at one. And I was like, you know what? There's a train up the street. I'm going to go ahead and walk over to that. And so I did. I walked back to the train, and he had texted me later that night, seeing if I got home. And that's it. I can't imagine we're going to see each other again. I told him, I was like, look, first dates can be, it's hard to tell if you have a connection on a first date, because you're just kind of figuring it out. If you I'm happy to meet again and see if we do. And he was like, yeah, I'd like to meet again. And also like still just very intense. And then he had just been talking to me on Bumble still. And I was like, okay, well, you have my number. Let's move over to to texting. And he's like, oh, I don't really see a difference between texting and the app. And I was like, that's just a dumb detail. And so I have not heard from him. Honestly, that's fine. That is A-okay too. He's not getting any of these apples, I can tell you that, because a lot of them are now in these muffins, which honestly, this smells so good. If this works out, woof, I'm going to be I'm going to be incredible. I should probably put, okay, I filled all the tins. That's the whole date story, by the way. You're not getting more. Now you're just watching me bake. So if this is uninteresting, you could leave too. This is me practicing. This is my first live. So if you're here with me right now, or if you're watching it later of some sort, this is me practicing and seeing how it goes. Because, why not? Post 2020, I realized like this world is kind of ending all the time. And if you can find anything that makes you happy after this last election that made me so, so sad, everything I can do to find a little bit of joy, great. Baking, creating recipes, talking to y'all, being on live. If anyone feels like they want to chat, if anyone feels maybe encouraged to try something new, to try to find some joy, then good. I'm glad I got on here. I'm happy about that. So yeah, my channel is called Vicariously Through Kim because I realized like I've gotten to do a lot of traveling. I've got to do a lot of cool things. And I've had a lot of people say like, I'm living vicariously through you. So that's kind of where the idea came from. So you can live vicariously through me, even when I'm just making muffins and telling you about weird dates. This is not like that's not a crazy date. It's nothing like wild. That's just like one of those like weird average dates, I guess. Or I don't know. Is that weird? I don't know. Maybe that's a weird date. And I'm so jaded at this point because of all the worst dates I've been on that it just seems like par for the course. Okay, let me wash my hands before I show you these. This is what we got. See, they're like halfway. They've got some of them are more apples than other. I bet that's going to affect how they cook, but we'll see. So let's see, 13 to 15 minutes or until lightly brown. Chewy banana bars. Okay, we're not making those, but okay. 13 to 15 minutes. I'll let you know how this goes. Putting it in. I also have one of the smallest kitchens you'll ever see. Like if I open this oven right here, I have to I got to get out of the kitchen. Because this is my first live too, I have no idea. I can't splice this together. So it's probably just going to be another video showing you what that looks like. So if you never come back, bye.